What's up, Giants? This is the Too Tall to Handle podcast. And of course, your hosts, your beautiful, lovely Jana, Angel, and myself, Daria. And today we have an interesting segment that we thought would be a lot of fun. Jana, do you want to tell us about what we have today?
So our tall topic for today, we actually decided to take our most common questions that I got in my comment section, your comment section, and our DM box, at least the ones that are appropriate to share online.
Yes. And I will say, actually, I got a really funny one. I want to share it. It was yesterday. Someone commented on my birthday picture because I was looking so cute in my pink outfit.
It was such a cute outfit. Where'd you find those pants long enough?
Yeah, I got good question. I got it on Lulu's. And I read the reviews and it was a long pant. People were saying, oh, they're too long for me. I was like, great, perfect.
You're like, I'll take them in every color. Thank you.
Yes. And this random guy commented on it and he goes, baby, you're so beautiful. I'm like, how tall are you? And I said, too tall to handle. Yes. And he said, no, really, how tall are you?
and then
paid him no mind.
And then they commented on my photo with you and they were like, blue whale. And I was like, you're dead to me. Thank you. I would like to point out, we were actually talking about languages right before we came on the air. Yeah. And in some languages, I recognize that there is not a difference between tall and just like big and or large.
Oh, interesting.
So like when I lived overseas in France, I really took issue before I understood that everyone was just like, oh my God, you're so big. Like,
you're so big.
Like, tellement grand, me. Like, whoa. Like everything was just like very aggressive, like grand. Everything was just big. And I finally was like, what is the French word for tall? And they were like, désolé, bitch. Like you just get to be big here. Sorry. Man. And so, but like in Spanish, there is like alta for like tall. And then there's just grande, like for big. So I was
grande.
I've just been grande my whole life, which is why we like Taco Bell has a special place in both of our hearts. Hashtag sponsor us. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. We're living moss over here.
We really are.
And then also one more thing we were talking about clothes earlier. I'm currently wearing Abercrombie and Fitch. It's back, guys.
Oh, yeah.
They have tall clothing now, which is so wonderful.
About damn time. No offense, but like, where were you in middle school? Like,
I know. Yeah. So this isn't actually fitting me properly. It isn't a crop top.
Yeah. It's super cute. I can't say anything because I have a crop top, but so one of my favorite places locally to shop is Brook and Arrow, and Brooke, next, she's a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, and she was like on the tall scale. So she always talks about how like she really struggled finding tall clothes.
Really?
So she specifically stocks things for like our tall ladies. So
how tall is she to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader?
I think
don't they cap that at like 5'4"?
I think if it fits, it chips. They're like, you look cute in the uniform and you can put these boots on your feet.
You can
like
kick your leg up in the air.
Listen, that's like, that's my jam show. I want to go try out one day because anybody can go try out. So Kelly, Judy, I'm coming for you one time.
That would actually be such a great, like if we did like a traveling episode.
Take the podcast on the road. Mike, pack your bags. We're
going to Dallas.
Going to Dallas.
Okay, we got a little backtracked, but all right, let's reel it in here.
Tall girl tangent. Sorry.
Tall girl tangent. So
we'll bring it back.
Do you want to choose the first one?
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah. So thank you to all you people sending in your questions. We really appreciate it. We really needed the help for these first couple episodes. So thank you. Let's hear it. Spin that.
So the first one is, what's the weirdest tall comment you've ever received? Keep in mind our moms are watching. Okay. I would just like to preface
and our boyfriends.
Okay.
The weirdest. Wait, do you want me to go first?
I think you should go first. Yeah.
Well, actually, recently, I guess this was weird. It probably wasn't the weirdest, but I was definitely weirded out. So I live in a community. It's a gated community with a lot of older people who live there. The average age is about 65. And I was going to the gym and I could see all the old guys kind of like staring at me. They were pointing at me, talking amongst themselves, whispering. And one of them came up to me and they were like, we've been watching you ever since you moved here, come to this gym. And we all are wondering, how tall are you? I think you're 6'1". Fred over here thinks you're 6'3". I'm like,
you got the canasta club just like betting on how tall you are.
They were all talking about it, and they were really, really like weirded out by me, and they really wanted to know how tall I was. And the fact that they thought I was 6 foot plus when I'm only 5'10", it was
that SFE, man. That SFE.
But yeah, it definitely kind of like weirded me out because I would always feel their eyes looking at me, and I never really knew why. And they had a bet going, so I guess whoever guessed 5'10" won $20.
So I've seen these bets like come up, and I would like to point out, if you bet on Daria and I, we now will be taking a cut. Like
Yeah.
if I am part of this bet, I there's a fee.
I know. Yeah, we get 10%.
I'm
15.
like, yeah, Daria and I are like standard 10 to 15%. I think is just like
Yeah.
we'll put that in really fine print at the bottom of these show notes. But
Yeah,
I've
so
I've
that was
definitely been part of that before.
yeah, definitely. So that's a weird one that I can think of that happened recently that comes to mind, but I'm sure there's been many others, but people stop me all the time. And even I was flying recently and a man like grabbed my shoulders and he was like, "You must have been a basketball player." And I said, "No,
And then
I
you were
play
like,
tennis."
no, touchy.
Yeah, and they kind of feel like they can
Like, don't touch the tall people. I feel like it's like pregnant women. Like people just feel like they
Right.
can come up and touch you. And I'm
Yeah,
not
like,
sure.
they have like the liberty to do that.
It's a no for me, dog.
We have
Just by the
feelings,
way,
too.
in personal space, I have more personal space requirements and
Yeah, no.
feelings. But
In
yeah.
our arm span should be the 6 foot thing really actually 6 foot social distancing was good for us, but we're not gonna talk about any of that COVID bullshit here. So
None
how
of
about
that.
Jana? So what was your weirdest instance?
So I think I have two. One mainly just because you were with me when it happened.
Oh, I know.
And it was something that I know is like unintentional, but it's one of those things where like I don't prompt people to talk about my height. People come at you with it, which is fine. Like I'm totally down to talk about my height. I will take that selfie with you in Target. Please just give me a chance to turn around. I can hear your camera clicking. Like just
Oh my God.
give your girl a second. I'll give you a smile and like something else besides like the back of my ponytail to
People take
look
pictures
at.
of you at Target?
Yes.
Do they ask you to like reach things on the show?
All the time. If I do it in Publix, like especially if it's like a weird like AM time when like all the little biddies are shopping, like I've had people offer me a tip before because I've literally like gone shopping with them.
Did you
like,
take it?
No,
that's your cut. You
I was
should
like,
have taken.
no, I just
That's
Social
your
Security
tall
and
tax.
stuff. I'm
You
like,
should have taken.
I should have taken a tall tax. That's what we'll call the bet fee if we have. Yeah.
Okay.
So and it was another tall girl, which I think that's why it like
Oh,
came off so weird to
yeah.
me. Like the girl was tall too.
She was 5'11".
And so
we won't name any names. Though,
yeah, we
'cause-
won't. But she was like talking about how like I think she was trying to give me a compliment.
She was, but it was so
And she was
backhanded.
like, she's like, your jewelry's so interesting. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I'm like all excited because it's like local. I'm like talking about it, whatever. And then she's like, it's just very masculine. Like you're just very masculine. And I'm like, first of all, like I'm not really into like throwing people into like a masculine or feminine category. Like I think that's a bunch of crap. So I was just like, but I'm like, okay. And
she wouldn't have said that to you if you weren't tall.
right. And I'm like, and Daria's like trying to help her out. She's like, oh, like industrial,
like
giving her all these
chains.
other like Vogue like, adjectives. And she's just like
nope,
masculine, just like strong, manly. And I was just like, you can be done at any time. Like
that was like when you get the cane out.
Yeah, you're like, come on. Yeah, we're done with that.
And to give her a little slack, she was a foreign woman. So maybe just
maybe it was just like a language barrier.
Yeah.
But it was
Speaking of language
barriers,
barriers,
I was like, all right, we can be done. And then she just like kept going. I think that was like with the hard part. She was just like,
know.
nope. She just like doubled down on like the man factor. And I was
that-
like, all right.
that was the hill she chose to die.
She did.
Wait, you said you had two. What was the other one?
Oh, I think the other one is just like when people decide to argue with me about how tall I am. Like, listen,
yeah.
like Brian, I don't know what your varsity basketball coach told you in high school.
It's like, no way, dude.
That
I'm
your roster
6'5".
how it was. And
Yeah.
I was like, cool. Then apparently I'm 6'5" today. Like, because I get in fights with people, especially at the bar. Like, people like come up to me and they're like, how tall are you? Like very aggressively. And I'm like 6'3", and I'm wearing heels. So I'm probably hovering at like 6'6". If you meet me out in the wild, I'm probably hovering around 6'6". And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You want to do a back to back? Like,
So we do.
let's carry a measuring tape.
And then sometimes they're like demanding, like, take off your shoes. I'm like, I will not.
not in a sticky ass place.
I'm
no
like,
way.
this is like a sticky floor covered in like beer and shards of glass.
yeah.
Like just on the list of things we won't be doing
No.
today, Brian. And they'll just get so huffy about it.
I know.
And I'm like,
They're
that's
threatened by our
it's
tall
the
fabulousness.
opposite of SFE, I think, in my opinion. If it's like whatever the opposite of 6 foot energy is, like that's
Yeah, they
that's
got,
that
like,
comment.
Little shrimp energy.
It's like tiny
All right, should I
garden
pull it
gnome
out?
energy. You can you
Okay.
pick this one. I don't know why these make me nervous. I'm like, I don't know what's coming out of the bowl.
What is the best and worst thing about being tall?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. So this might be a little superficial, but one of the best things is that you can actually distribute your weight really well. So
Holidays are easier
yeah, if
for
you gain
us.
a pound or two, doesn't matter, can't tell. And then the worst thing, I just want to feel small in somebody's arms. No, I mean, No, that's not it.
I think that's fair. I mean, like,
yeah, I just,
yeah, like,
I want to feel like a tall, or not a tall man. That's what I am, but I want to feel like a small little like
you want to feel
dainty.
dainty sometimes.
Yeah, just sometimes, and the fact that like I can't turn off my height. Like girls who are average height, they can wear heels and turn it on, but for me, I can never turn it off. So
Hmm.
that's probably the worst thing for me. But
I
not
think
a
that's a
huge
great
deal.
point. I think that's a
Where'd you
great
put
point.
the other one? Did you put it back in?
I
Oh.
was in a fit, so I flung it. Mike will clean up later.
So what's yours?
Okay, let's see.
Best and worst.
Best is for sure, like, no one's ever blocking my view. Like,
Yeah, at a
my
concert.
my life is unobstructed for the most part.
Okay, that's a good one. It's very glass half full of you.
Yeah, I would say, like, the view is nice and clear from up here.
The taller you are, the closer to God, right?
Amen. I feel like Dolly would say that.
Yeah, Dolly would say that.
I'm into that. I would
Yeah.
say I think the worst is just kind of like sometimes the audacity that like people have to just like make a spectacle of you. Like, I'm confident in my height and I like being tall. Like, obviously if we didn't, we wouldn't have this whole podcast, but for me it's just like when people just decide to make like a circus out of it. I think like that's what's
Yeah.
frustrating, because you would never do it to somebody else who had a very physically parent
Yeah, like if they were bald or
right.
Yeah, like,
We talk about
how
this all the
bald
time,
are you?
right? Like, I would
Why are
never
you
walk up and
bald?
just be
Are
like,
your parents bald?
yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, you're already like you're so fat. Like, is your family fat? Like, have you always been fat, or did you
Yeah,
get,
you can't say
like, you
that.
would just
That's
never
not
say that.
PC.
No, it would be
Mhm.
horrible. Or if I did it to a short person, I was just like, how short are you? Why are you wearing flats? You're already short. Why are you wearing?
Oh, that's
It
a
would
good
be
one.
obnoxious and rude.
Yeah.
And if you just went fat, touching all the fat, tall, bald, short people, like, it would just be very awkward. But
It
for
would be.
some reason, there's just this like carte blanche attitude when it
Carte
comes to
blanche.
tall
Oui.
people. And guys, like, I can't speak on your behalf because I don't know if you get it as much as we do, but I mean,
No.
because I think people want guys to be like tall and manly and
Sure, absolutely.
go throw trees in the woods. But like when we're tall, they're just like, ugh! Like, it's just this visceral reaction sometimes, like when we're out in the wild. And I can't like quite wrap my head around it, because like I'm totally fine to answer like when people are asking me how tall I am, or if I played volleyball or basketball, and I'm like, yes, I did both and
Yeah.
da-da-da. And but it's like when people just get real hung up on it and like just
I know.
make it like this whole thing, like, Shirley, come over here, look how tall, stand by her. Like,
Surely.
it's kind of like, geez, like,
It's like an animal in a zoo almost.
yeah. And I think that's the thing. So it's like, learn how to talk to your tall people, like,
Yeah.
feel free to ask questions, but like, ask it to their face. Like, we're totally fine to take pictures. I can't speak for my whole tribe, but like, I'm fine with
Are
that.
we fine with doing
I'm fine. I mean, but
Okay.
it's like when people like start to get like aggressively like lined up and everything. Sometimes it's just,
That's never happened. Whoa.
I don't know what it is, but like, yes, I think especially when I'm like out and about, like people just get like real into my height, and they just have like the most absurd and obscene questions about things. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm just out here like living my life, man. I'm just trying to like have dinner. And
Does it happen when you're with your boyfriend Chris ever?
it happens a lot less with Chris, because I think I get
Okay.
approached by like way less
Yeah, that makes
guys.
sense. Okay.
Chris does not give off like a please come talk to my girlfriend energy. He
No.
does not. So it's
He'll
been
kill somebody. His fists are like, remember sock and boppers?
the
Like
those.
those.
The roamer like men are
Yeah.
not dainty figures. So 10 out of 10 would not
Don't mess with
recommend.
them.
Would not recommend. Some guy said hi to me the wrong way at 123 one time, and I just saw his like whole body fling across the room, and I was like, what? But so that's nice. But yeah, if I'm like out in the wild by myself, oh my gosh. Or if I'm with my sisters, who were all, my youngest sister, who's the baby, is actually 6'4". Don't worry, we'll have her on one
Wait,
day.
really?
Yeah, Savannah's the tallest.
Oh.
Baby Banaboo is 6'4". Alexandra is the middle. She's 6 foot, and then
Oh,
I'm
that's
the
why I
oldest
was
and
surprised.
6'3".
I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I thought Savannah was the middle. Got
Yep.
it.
Yep. So
Yeah, and
Savannah's
they're
the baby.
definitely going to be guests on here because they're super cool and they're super funny, and
Yeah.
it'll be fun to hear their perspective as well.
Yeah.
Wait, so your best
so
was
too.
what?
So my best was the unobstructed views.
Unobstructed views, and then the worst is
Worst
to
is the
feel like an
circus.
animal in the zoo.
The worst is the circus.
Yeah.
For me. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay, what is that?
What's your worst date ever?
Oh, well, okay. Pertaining to the height thing, a guy said that he was 6'1" on his profile. He shows up at perhaps a 5'7", and you know what? Like, don't lie about it. I think that would have been fine if he didn't lie about it. But then again, I probably
Right.
wouldn't have swiped on him. But just don't lie about it, because I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna not be able to find your short ass because I'm looking for someone tall. And
But also too, then I know you're not like
you're not
truthful.
honest. Yeah, I just like, what's the end game there, guys? Don't do this. I can't stress this enough. Do not lie about your height. It will get you nowhere. And again, if you're 5'7", go for the 5'1" girl, not for the 5'10". Thank you.
I mean, and if the girl's into it, but like let her decide. Like don't just lead her on.
So my sister's 5'6", I think, and we actually just talked about this the other day. She said that she would date someone shorter than her, and I was like, okay, like your husband's 5'11", so we'll see. Like if you ever
don't
break
talk to me
up,
about problems that you don't have.
Yeah, I don't believe a word that she says, but there are some people out there who have the confidence to do it, and power to you. But that's just not me, babe.
Yeah, I think it's totally like personal opinion. You know, it's just one of those things that like you have to be comfortable in your skin. They have to be comfortable with you. But for me, it was never really a height thing. Like, I think ideally, obviously, I always wanted somebody, like you said, who was going to make me feel like a little bit more petite, whatever. But like Chris and I are the exact same height.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fact that like I know that he doesn't care. He doesn't worry about me wearing heels. But like the second a guy, anytime I would go on a date and the guy would be like, I can't believe you wore heels. Da, da, da. I was like, check. Thank you. I would
totally
like,
check.
Back in the day
Instant
before Uber, I would literally just taxi my butt home. I'd be like, we're done. And
days before Uber, wow.
It was bleak and it was expensive. Bleak. Let me tell you, kids these days don't know how good they have it.
Yeah. So that was definitely one of the worst ones. Just the sheer dishonesty. I got ready. I did my hair. I Ubered to this restaurant and you show up. Like seriously, like 10 inches shorter than you said you were. That is so messed up. So I wasn't happy about that.
Do you think you were going to notice?
I don't even know. I really don't.
Like, what's the end game? Like, if you're, I guess I can't say because like I've never had an online dating profile, but I'm just like, what is the end game there? Like, do you think women lie about their heights or stuff? I guess
you know,
like,
but they lie about other things. Yeah. Like, you know, they'll Photoshop their photos or use one from 10 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like I would use like
not good.
I feel like I would use like a terrible one of me. I'd be like, because I'm like, if you don't like me at my bridge troll, you don't get me at my.
If you don't like him at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Yeah, if you don't like me when I look like a wet scrunchie with my blue blocker glasses on, you don't get me at my cute on camera face.
That's fair.
I don't know. Chris puts up with both, so thanks, babe.
He does, and he's the best, and he's going to be a guest on the show as well.
Yes.
If I can convince my boyfriend Dan, he'll come too. He's a tall man at a solid 6'3".
I know.
God bless him.
And Dan and Chris have been friends for a long time.
And that's how we met. So.
Yeah. I wonder if they're just like, what do our girlfriends like get into?
I know.
Anyways, tall girl tangent.
All right, next one.
Okay.
Wait, do I pick it? No, your turn.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, whoever asked this is hilarious. How's the weather up there?
This is like a question that we get a lot. It's so stupid. So I'm actually going to start off with a quote from Wilt Chamberlain that might.
Oh.
So
I have one about Winston Churchill.
Perfect. So. The weather. So one time my I don't know how much of like a tall tale this is. Hashtag like tall tales.
Speaking of tall tales, guys, we wanted to name this podcast Tall Tales.
Yes, we did,
but
actually.
Some little dweeb beat us to it. His name is what? Like Percy, and he doesn't even tell tales. He is not tall. He doesn't do anything with this name, and I resent him for it. If you're listening,
Percy, we want our name back.
Percy, we want our name back. But you know what? Too tall to handle is great too.
Yeah, you came up with that. I thought it was great when you
so
said
good.
that. I thought it was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I thought that was
everything's taken. You know, in this day and age, it's hard to come up with original stuff.
Yeah, it's tough,
but we're original and we're great. So anyway, go back to what you were saying.
Anyways,
how was the weather up there?
How's the weather up there? So my dad was in an elevator with him, and he literally was just like, somebody said,
wait, with Will Chamberlain?
Yeah, and he was like,
wait, who is Will Chamberlain? I don't know who that is.
He's a basketball player.
Okay, I thought it was someone who was like dead or something.
So I don't know if like legitimately my dad was in the elevator, if this was like somebody else who was in the elevator and told the story, because you know dad stories.
Yeah.
One day we'll ask him when he's on the podcast. But so they're in the elevator and somebody asked Will like, "How's the weather up there?" And he like kind of went like on them and said,
like,
"It's
spit out
and said it's raining."
That's good.
And I was like,
wow.
Note to self. Next time someone asks me that, I'm just going to go, it's raining. Like a very mature woman that I am.
I think that's great. I love that comeback.
So what's your Winston Churchill comment on being tall?
I don't have one.
Oh.
Thanks for remembering. I thought Will Chamberlain was going to be someone like that. So Anyway,
Just a random tall girl tangent. Shaq, if you're ever out there, you have an open seat here. He's my fave.
oh
I
my
feel
God,
like
his microphone would have to.
I will hang his from the roof if I have to. Like we will make you
Yeah.
feel fit and enclosed.
Inclused in our roots.
If you're included.
He's included. Anybody who's tall, if you guys honestly, if you would like to be a guest, we're all ears.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
We're very inclused here.
We're very inclused.
And too tall to handle.
It's a highly inclused environment. I'm here for it.
Well, the weather's great up here in Jupiter, Florida, or I guess West Palm, technically.
I like to say it's nice and clear because the bullshit settles below.
Oh.
If you get me on a
Zing.
feisty day, that's what you get from me.
You're definitely feisty. I think between us, you're the feistier one. I wouldn't want to be your enemy, Jana.
Oh, really? I feel like you're feisty.
Only if I'm pushed to the absolute limit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm pretty, like I don't have a pulse usually. I'm pretty chill and like pretty.
You are
cool.
super chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm super chill.
You're like gripping onto
I'm
your
so
microphone.
chill.
You're like, I'm a chill one. My dad always says I'm wound like a top, and I'm like, no one's seen a top in 30 something years, but
like a little
like,
dreidel,
tight like a top. All right. Oh, okay. Did this one go back in the bowl? That one back in the bowl. I'm not sure what happened.
Wait,
there.
which one was it?
It was the worst tall comment. Back in the bowl.
My bad if I threw it back in the wall.
Okay, this is a good one. Do you like being tall?
I'd say it's 50-50. To be honest, actually finding the man that I'm with now, he makes me feel really confident and really, happy in my skin, and like he makes me feel good about being tall.
As he should.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if I could like Freaky Friday it and like switch with somebody else, like I think like a 5'8" I would be like completely happy with. But being tall has served me well, and I wouldn't be with this, a lovely lady doing this tall podcast if I wasn't. But yeah, I mean, I'd say like I like it for the most part, and everyone wants what they don't have to it. But if I was 5'1", I would be praying that I was 5'10", like I am now. So I'm blessed, and I should be happy and grateful, which I am. So I'd say 80% happy to be tall, 20% no. How about you?
So I personally love being tall because I feel like there's some sort of like weird source of power that I get from it. Like if there's like too many other people that are taller than me in the room, I get like a little irritated.
Really?
I get like I get like a little annoyed.
Stop. That's like my favorite thing. Like when I met you as a friend, I was like, thank God I have another tall friend.
I was like no,
tall people stick together.
And we do, but it's almost like, because then I'm just like a regular person and I don't like that.
Okay.
I'm like a little extra, and I like being like,
interesting.
I think
you get a little jealous.
A little bit. Maybe that's what that emotion is. Yeah. But sometimes if there's like way too many tall people, like anytime I would do sports things, like I didn't like that I was just like your average.
How'd you feel at volleyball when
bear.
I guess everyone was tall now.
So it really wasn't until like we would get to like bigger competitions, and then like every team had like the one girl that was my size. Like I definitely
you guys were middle hitters, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Goggles. I remember her from like Duke. Like
I'm Goggles.
Like yeah, there was another girl that was
Daria Goggles.
Yeah,
everybody hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah, follow my girl. But yeah, like I just every team had like one tall girl, and you were like that was enough. But if I go somewhere and there's just like way too many of me, I'm like I don't feel very special.
Yeah, you're tall territorial. I didn't know. That.
Maybe. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's a good point. The only time I don't like it is when I go shopping, because like I want to be so into fashion, and I love clothes, and I want to have like a signature style, but like there's just things don't like fit around my body, because like I'm 6'3", but I also have like double D boobs, and I'm like a size 10, 12. Like I'm not like a petite anything. So it's like, when you're trying to shop, it's just frustrating, because you're like, I want to live my best life in these clothes.
Huge part of being a woman too. But I think you have a signature style.
Oh,
like, you always look right in what you wear, and you rock it, and you totally own it, and that's what makes you you. And you're so hot and beautiful, and I love you so much.
Oh,
I'll pump you up all day, babe.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I love what you said about Dan. That was cute.
I know, it's so true. It really is.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes. We have how many more? Like
two more. We got time. Yeah.
Okay.
Make it happen.
Do you play sports? Sports.
This has to be like the number one question. We should have like had someone like tally these.
Yes.
So
you can take this one away,
okay.
Miss Sporty Spice.
Yes. So even though I always wanted to be posh, because I mean, she wore Gucci the whole time. Like who didn't want to be Victoria Beckham?
The little Gucci dress or the little Gucci dress?
Right. Everyone else.
Which one should I wear?
Everyone fought over baby, and I was like, Victoria's Secret. I was like, Victoria has like a closet full of Gucci. I'll be over here being posh spice.
But like you would have been a good baby. Like you have the hair.
See, another reason I tried to dye my hair brown back in the day. I was like determined to be a spicy
Oh
brunette.
my god! Wait, one day I'm gonna wear a blonde wig and you should wear a brown one.
Okay,
and we could
good.
be each other. But that's for another day.
Okay,
but go on.
So sports. I literally played sports since I was 3 years old. My dad was the coach of our like church basketball team. I think he got kicked out of every single gymnasium I ever played in because he was a vocal parent. And a vocal coach. He was not a bashful bird, to say the least. And when you have a 7-foot man screaming at you at a referee, you tend to just toss him out of the gym. So, but he cared. It's just because he cared and he wanted us to be safe and for the games to be fair. But played basketball for years and did track for years. I didn't get into volleyball actually until I was in middle school, tried out for the team, got cut because the basketball coach wanted me to play. And they didn't want me like switching sports. So they cut me so that I would only play basketball. And in my, rebellion, I was just like, well, I just won't play any basketball. Ha. So
I didn't even know that you did.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a basketball player at all.
Yeah.
I was just like volleyball through and through.
No, I didn't play volleyball until after one of my sisters started playing. And I thought it was just like a fun sport, it would keep me in shape for basketball and track. And, so I mean, I did volleyball, basketball, track. I was in a ballet company full time up until I graduated high school, and then even was in the company at NC State for a long time.
You were in a ballet company?
Yeah.
So I bet $1 million that you did the Nutcracker.
I did every Christmas.
Who wants to bet that Clara or Jana wanted to be Clara?
Okay. Everyone wanted to be Clara.
Jana was probably not Clara. Who were you instead?
No, I got to be a rat. You know what? You want to know how upsetting it is to be in a company and your blood, sweat, and tears. Oh. After you went to basketball practice, you had to come to ballet, rip your hair out in a bun and then like practice for hours. And then you get to be like rat number 5.
She was rat number 5
because you're so tall. My one like redeeming time was I actually did get to be Clara because Clara got injured. And they needed somebody.
You were the understudy for Clara.
So I wasn't even the understudy. I had not trained for Clara at all. They needed somebody when she got injured. They needed somebody to go do this like one part for her while they were putting the costume like on another girl. And it was just the only reason I was there is because my rat died in Act 1.
Oh no.
So I was the same height as her as a 5th grader.
Well, you know what? Honestly, since Clara was the main character, I think she should have been the tall one. Like Clara's obviously taller than a rat. That's my thought process.
Yeah,
so.
I really want to be the Sugar Plum Fairy because she had like some main
she
character
was the best
energy.
one too.
Yeah, and she had her whole kingdom. Like Clara wasn't even helping when the rats were attacking. Like made the Nutcracker take care of all of it. So remix that. Yeah, so that was aggressive with.
So that was like your sports history. So volleyball was like your probably number 1 sport that you thrived in.
Yeah. So I played through college and then whenever season played. And I think that was like just my favorite ever time.
Well, and that's a great outlet for a tall woman too, that, you're putting your height to good use.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had actually tried to get jobs with news stations because I really did want to go into broadcasting and they told me I was too much and I was too tall because they were worried that I would make the interviewees look too short. But, then I met, people who owned like private production and they were like, nah, we don't care. You look great on TV. Like my friend Liz was like, I'll put you on my show. Like, I love your height. This is great.
And look at you now. It's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. Joke's on you guys. Got my own show.
Yeah. Losers.
I'll be like Walt Chamberlain.
It's rating.
Very mature. Very mature. All right. I was like,
wait,
so you have
I want to talk about my sports.
I was like, that was aggressive.
I was
like, wait, your sports.
So I was kind of like
tennis queen.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to be the next Serena and Venus Williams.
Both at the same time.
Both at the same time, failing miserably, but I play for Jonathan's Landing and I love it so much. And it's kind of interesting because as an adult, you don't really play organized sports like out of high school or college usually. So it's kind of cool to be back into something like that and gives you discipline and, something to like work towards. And but growing up, I really wanted to be a gymnast, like I think we said on episode 2, and got too tall for that. And then I kind of tried everything because I wanted to just like do it all and try everything. So I did everything from track and field to taekwondo, and nothing really stuck, to be honest, because I had such fear of missing out. I wanted to like hang out with my friends, so I didn't want to play sports And I had so many TV shows to watch. So I wanted to watch like I remember I would cry and cry because I didn't want to go to volleyball. I wanted to watch Golden Girls and I wanted to watch
Oh,
Whose Line Is It Anyway? And even when my hamster died, I didn't care because I just wanted to watch my shows. Like and
it's
that's how
rough.
I know it is rough. But yeah, so currently I play volleyball. Oh no, I don't. I
Oh, I
play
was like, you
no,
do?
no, maybe beach
I was
volleyball
about to
here
be
and there.
upset that you never invited me. I was
No.
like, what?
We should play beach volleyball
Oh, we should.
sometime. But I
All our
currently
spare
am a
time.
tennis player through and through. And my height definitely comes to my advantage a lot of the times.
Yeah.
That's
You just hang out at the net and just
I,
overhand
I
everything.
literally I'm a beast at the net. And it's funny, I think I mentioned earlier I live in a community that's a lot of older ladies. So I think I'm the youngest one on the team by 35 years. So it's definitely an interesting environment and I love playing with those ladies so much. All you, Karens out there. You guys are great. Shout out to you.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Sports.
Sports. All right.
Love
after our sports
sports.
segment. All right. That's our last.
We're so sporty.
Our last one. Okay, this is a good one to end on. We talked a little bit about this. Is your family tall? Did you come from a tall family?
So my immediate family, no. My dad, I think at his tallest, he was 6'1", and then my mom 5'7". And even my brother, he's an older brother, and he's only 5'8". So I got a good 2 inches on him. So it was always
Interesting.
kind of just me. I think you said that. What is it? I was a tall straw and a.
Yeah.
What was it? A tall straw and what?
I was like, I
was just like a
no
tall
idea.
straw amongst a bunch of little straws, and that definitely kind of led up to a lot of insecurity for me because I had these tiny little beautiful sisters. I was kind of like the Khloe Kardashian of the group, where
Aw.
it was definitely very a stark difference. And but then again, I have an aunt who's 6'1", and my dad's side of the family is Swiss German, so they have a lot of height to them. But then my mom's
Yeah.
side is the Italian, which kind of brings the height down a little. Yeah, it was definitely, not always fun growing up with of all these tiny little sisters, and then my brother who was, small too. But
All these dainty darlings.
yeah, dainty darlings, and I'd like to think I'm a dainty Daria, but so no, I did not necessarily grow up in a tall family, unlike yourself. So yeah,
Mine just looked like a Viking reunion
that
every
must
time
have
we
been
got together.
crazy. I think people were probably taking pictures of all of you guys together.
And it's funny
It was
because
probably
like
a spectacle.
I don't think about how tall I am until I see myself in photos because I think like all growing up, like my dad's 7 foot, my mom's 5'10", Savannah's 6'4", Alexander's 6 foot. And all the women in my family always wore heels. Like my best,
That's cool.
My cousins, the women were all like 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot on both sides. All my guy cousins, like if there's any single ladies out there, got guy cousins for days and they're all amazing and they're like
Ooh.
6 foot and up. So
Where do they live?
I was like, we've got them spread out
Are
throughout
they in
the
Rockville,
Rock Hill,
Carolina?
Rock Thrill,
Rockville.
Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston. So I mean, we always like, and we were always very close as a family. So we like when our squad would just kind of like roll out, like it probably looked like a football game, just like let out, and we were just like the whole D line, just like running into the bar. But I think it was nice that I had parents that were tall because they kind of gave me like tall person responsibilities. Like my dad was always like, if you ever get in trouble for like defending someone,
Yeah.
like and using your size to defend someone, like we'll always go to bat for you.
That's
like,
cool.
but
I
if
like
you're,
that.
but they were like, if you're a bully with your size, like you're going to be in trouble.
Right.
Because they were always like, you need to be like a gentle giant. And they were like these like tall people rules that my dad was very,
I
very
love
specific
that.
about. Cause he's like, you need to protect people that are smaller than you. Because if it was
Aw.
reversed, you would want somebody to protect you.
Absolutely. And that's
yeah.
kind of like I was the Robin Hood bully growing up, so I would always bully the bullies. So hear that, guys? Bully the bullies. Stand up for yourself.
Yeah. Don't let people be assholes.
Don't let people be assholes. You
it's-
don't have to accept it. This
No.
is 2022.
1000%. Like if people aren't being inclusive and if they're not being kind, like just call them out because I think people like that get to where they've been bullies their whole life and no one called them out. Like if I hear you and you're not being kind and you're not being inclusive, like I'll call you out. I don't care who's around. I don't care
Yeah.
what it is. Like I'll call you out. I don't need whatever that deal is. I don't need whatever those people. I
No,
don't care.
and we needed them. We needed people like that
Yeah.
growing up. And we didn't have them.
I will end on like my one like heroic bullying story.
Okay,
it was,
yes,
It was
do
actually a friend that we hated each other's guts. Like when you're like when you're friends as kids, but it's because like your parents are friends and like you don't even like that other person, but they're
You're
around
in
all the
front of
time.
me.
Yeah, and so it was this guy named Frank Taylor, and we're best friends to this day, and he's getting married. I'm so excited for him. But he was like, golly, like he and his brothers, like we always
Did
fought.
you
Like
say
my
golly?
like, golly, like
Golly gee willikers.
he's a South Carolina friend. But
Okay.
so
Golly.
we grew up together. Our moms are best friends. His family's amazing. But like, we're just at that age where you're like, boys are gross and stupid. Meh. Like, so we just didn't get along. But I had to have a lot of surgery like on my neck. Like I actually had like cancer on my neck. And so
Oh my God, I
they
didn't
had
know
to
that.
remove it. And I had like all these terrible scars. It was before like really good plastic surgery.
Was it
So
skin cancer?
Yeah. I was like
Was it tall girl cancer?
cancer of the kneecaps.
Oh my God. That's
so-
why you wore knee.
Yes. That's why I wore knee pads on the
knee
plane.
pads on the airplane.
So I just like I had all these scars and like
Oh my God, I had no idea.
I'm like going into a new grade and it was like, it's like
Oh, so you were like
trauma.
tall, scar-necked girl.
Yes, I was. And
Oh
somebody
my
called me
goodness.
Frankenstein and I was so upset. And we had just
Kill
gone to this
them.
new school. And I was so upset and I was like starting to cry because I used to be very sensitive to Sally. These days I just like throat punch them and wouldn't care. But, back in the day I was very sensitive Sally. And Frank literally looked over at them and he goes, no one makes fun of her but me, and knocked their lights out. And I never
like actually knocked him out.
like knocked him out. And we're in 6th grade. Like it was the
Whoa.
year of that physical I told you about. So
yeah, oh wow.
I mean,
okay.
literally knocked his ass out. And I had never seen anyone like get hit in real life,
Oh,
much less
wow.
by like a friend
in
of
your
mine.
name
And
for your honor.
ever since then, like we've just been like best friends. And he got suspended for it. I mean, he really like took one for the team.
Was
so
he short?
I was like, no, he's probably like 6 foot, I think.
Oh,
like,
you should have dated him.
yeah, I was like, our parents definitely tried for that, but we've always been like best friends. And he has this fiance now that's like absolutely phenomenal. Her name is Charlie, and she has like long hair like Rapunzel, and she's wonderful. But we've just
Aw.
always been like best friends. And but I'll always remember that like he stood up for me and just knocked someone out cold. And it was very like Southern cowboy thing to do, but. Don't recommend hitting people. That's not what we endorse.
Oh yeah,
but
we don't condone violence.
only if they ask
unless
for it.
it's necessary. They
we're
ask
like,
for it.
unless you need it.
Unless they make fun of you for being tall,
Right.
Then you knock their ass out.
Out like a light.
Yeah, with your long wingspan, and you are a lethal weapon, and you should never forget it. And I think that wraps this episode. Does it not?
I think it does, Dara.
All right, you tall glasses of water. We're signing out. Too Tall to Handle podcast.
Where the tall tribe comes to vibe.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Sayonara, suckers.